Hi students, today you will watch a video lesson. We were going to do this yesterday, but unfortunately I was out sick. So today, since I'm out again, you're going to watch the video interest lesson for simple interest. So you're going to solve problems involving simple interest, and what simple interest is the amount paid or earned for the use of money. So if you put money into a savings account, you earn interest. If you borrow money, you have to pay interest. The principal is the amount of money deposited or invested. Also, it's the amount of money that is borrowed, the principal amount. If at any time you want to write something down, feel free to pause the video, catch up on writing your notes, because you are expected to take notes today, and then just hit play again. So if I'm going too fast, just pause the video, write stuff down. Alright, so simple interest, there's a formula. I equals PRT. I is the interest, so you want to write this down. I is the interest, P is the principal, that's the amount borrowed or deposited. R is the interest rate written in a decimal, so like 2% interest is 0.02. And then T is the amount of time that the money is invested or borrowed, and that's in years. So if you have months, you need to change that to years. So if it says 18 months, you would just say 18 over 12. You can simplify this. I can divide them both by 6. So this was 3 over 2. So 3 over 2 is what? I would divide 3 divided by 2. So this goes in 1 time. There's 1 left over. And this goes in 5 times. Some of you know, so this is 1.5 years. Some of you know that 18 months is a year and a half. And if you already know that calculation, feel free to do that. But if it says like 14 months, then you would want to divide out 14 divided by 12. You can simplify that fraction to 7, 6, and divide. But if it says like 36 months, don't feel like you have to divide, because you should know that 36 months is 3 years. Alright, so our first problem, Ray has $750 in a savings account that pays 3% interest. How much interest will he earn in 4 years? So what I want you to write down is $750 in savings, 3%, 4 years. So this is the first question. How much interest will he earn in 4 years? The second question is, what will be the total in Ray's account at the end of 4 years? So, and that's assuming that he doesn't take any money out. So you write down your formula, I equals PRT. So I, we don't know because that's what we're trying to find out. P, how much is your principal? What did he put in? So that's $750 times your rate, 3%. So 3% is 0.03. Remember, you move the decimal twice, so you need a 0. So times 0.03, and then how many years? What's your time? 4 years. And again, you can multiply these in any order because multiplication is commutative. So I'm going to take 750, I'll just go in order, times 0.03. So that is 2250, and then I take 2250 and I multiply that times 4. And so I get $90. So my interest is $90. So that's the answer to the first question. The second question is how much is in his account? So what did he start off with? He started off with $750, and then you're going to add the interest that he earned. So he has $840 in his account if he was earning simple interest for 4 years at 3% and didn't take any money out. So this would be the total in his account. All right, so the next problem, let's try another one together. Corey borrows $1,200 from the bank for a riding lawnmower. The interest rate is 8%. How much simple interest will he pay if he takes 2 years to repay the loan? So what I want you to write is borrows $1,200, 8%, 2 years. All right. So write down your formula. I equals PRT. So we don't know the interest because that's what we're finding. P is 1,200 times 8% is 0.08. And then the years, 2. So again, just multiply 1,200 times 0.08. So $96. Remember, you can drop those zeros when you're doing the next multiplication. Times 2. So $192. So your interest is $192. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is asking, what is the total Corey will pay out at the end of 2 years? So for question number 2, he's paying back the $1,200 plus he's paying back the interest that they charged him. So $1,392 is his total payback or payout. All right. So here's another one. Kate's bank offered 4% simple interest on her deposit. She has $1,500 to invest. How much interest will she earn in 30 months? So the first thing you need to do is change 30 months into how many years? So 30 over 12. So I can divide both of those by 6, and I have 5 over 2. So if you know 5 over 2 is 2.5, then it's 2.5 years. All right, so that was number 1. Number 2, we want to find out how much interest it is. So again, I equals PRT. So we don't know the interest, so that's I. Principal, $1,500. Rate, 4% equals 0.04. And then the time is at 2.5 years. Now we can calculate it out. 1,500 times 0.04 is $60. And then $60, oops, times 2.5. I'm going to put the 2.5 on top. Times $60. One decimal place. So the interest earned is $150. Now the third question that you're going to answer is how much will be in her account at the end of 30 months. So you just take your principal, add your interest, and she will have $1,650 in her account. All right. So the next problem is your problem, and it says, what is the total amount of money in dollars in an account where $95 is invested at simple interest rate of 7.5% for 8 months? So I'm going to make this problem actually a little easier for you. I'm going to tell you that I just want you to say 7% for 8 months. And so the things that you need to write down is $95, 7%, 8 months. Now, notice they aren't saying how much interest. They are asking you up front the total amount of dollars in her account. So, the first thing you need to do is find the interest. Then, number one, first thing. Then number two is, the total in account. Okay, so go ahead and put this on pause, calculate it out, turn it back on when you're ready, and I will work it out and you can check your work. All right, so you should have finished. So the first thing you want to do is find the interest. I equals PRT. So I equals interest, or principal, is $95 times the rate. 7% is 0.07 times 8 months. So 8 over 12. So you can divide them both by 4, and you get 2/3. And many of you know that if you divide out 2/3, you get 0.6 repeating. So you would use 0.67. So your time in months, since it's less than a year, you're going to multiply that by 0.67. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply 95 times 0.07. All right, and then take that amount and multiply it times 0.67. Okay, and I notice that this is a 5, so this should be a 5. All right, and then I have 4 decimal places. So round to the nearest dollar, to the nearest cent. So this would be 4 point, and then I'm going to round here. So I look to the right. This is 5 or more, so I'm going to round up 4.6. So interest is $4.46. So the total in their account, $95 plus 4.46 is $99.46 in account. All right. So that's that question. Next step, Tanya borrowed $3,600 to buy a used car. She will be paying $131.50 each month for the next 36 months. Find the simple interest rate for her loan. So this one's a little different because we're finding the simple interest. So interest rate, not just the interest. Now, what I want you to write down, $3,600, or borrowed $3,600, paying $131.50 for each month for the next 36 months. All right, so let's figure out how much she will pay. And on this problem, I'm going to be using a calculator so that it goes by a little faster. Find the total that she will pay. So she's paying $131.50 times, oh, I shouldn't use that. I'll use this. Times 36 months. So total paying out is $4,734. So from this, we're going to find the total interest. So if she pays out $4,734, then we need to subtract the initial amount that she borrowed. That's going to give you the interest. So that would be $1,134. That's how much interest she paid for 36 months on $3,600. Now, if I want to find the rate, I'm going to fill in my I equals PRT. So my interest, I know that it's $1,134. My principal is $3,600. I don't know my rate, so I put R. And then 36 months, 36 over 12 is 3 years. So times 3. All right, so I'm going to calculate. 3,600 times 3 is 10,800. So now what do I have? I have $1,134 equals 10,800 R. Then solve for R. So divide by 10,800. And so when I divide that out, I get 0.105 equals R. So I change this to percent, move the decimal place twice, so it's 10.5% is my rate. If you're buying a car, that's a high interest rate. All right, so there's your question. I found my simple interest rate. So the next question, I'm going to have you work this one out. It's a little bit different, so let's read through it. Louis purchased a $200 savings bond after 5 years. After 5 years, it is worth $232.50. Find the simple interest rate. So unlike the last one where you had to calculate the payments per the number of months, on this one, step 1, you're just going to find out the total that they earned. So the earned is what you purchased it for and then what it's worth after 5 years. So you're going to subtract those two. That is your interest. So you don't have to do, like on the last one, you don't have to do the multiplication like that. So go ahead and try this one out. See if you can solve for R. So hit pause and then come back and check your work. Alright, so the step 1 is 232.5 minus 200. So the interest earned was $32.50. And so we're going to fill out our I equals PRT. So my interest is $32.50 equals my principal of 200. I don't know my R, and then I'm going to times this by 5 for 5 years. So 200 times 5 is 1,000. R equals 32.5. So when I divide by 1,000, I get 0.0325 equals R. Change this to a percent, move the decimal place twice. 3.25%. That's your rate. Alright. Okay, so next up, I want you to try a couple of these. So the first one, I want you to try calculating the simple interest. I'm going to see real quick if this other problem is a little easier numbers. How about this one? Try this one out. So I just want you to calculate, well, go ahead and calculate simple interest and then find out how much the total is in the account. So hit pause, write this down, calculate it out. Alright, so my interest for number 2 is $230 times 0.12. And then we already calculated 8 months before, and that was 0.67. So my I equals 18.492. So you got to round to the nearest cent. So it's 18.49. So $18, and then you're going to add that to 230. So total in the account is $248.90. Alright, so then I want you to do the next one by yourself. Jose's brother paid off his $5,000 student loan in 1.5 years. If he paid a total of $5,225, what was the simple interest rate of the loan? So go ahead and calculate that out. So put this on pause. Okay, you should have calculated it out. So we have, first I need to figure out how much interest. So my interest was the $5,225 minus the $5,000. So total interest paid is $225. And then I can put it into I equals PRT. So $225 equals 5,000 times, I don't know what the R is, and then 1.5 years is 1.5. So 5,000 times 1.5, 7,500 R, and then divide by 7,500. R equals 0.03, so this would be R equals 3%. So if I Look at my answer, 3%. All right, so hopefully you're understanding simple interest. And that's the lesson, so you can pick up your homework and get started for the remaining period. No calculators. Have fun. See you on Thursday.